Hi, and welcome back to another Mud and Blood visual review. This month we're taking a look at Hypertellurians, a game of science fantasy adventure in the future of old by Frank Redding, also known as Mottokrosh. Hypertellurians, before I get into the game itself, let me just give the quick caveat we always give at the beginning of our videos. If you've not looked at any of our visual reviews before, this is not a full review of the game. This is Mud and Blood is an audio-only podcast. And we've done a full 2+ hour review of Hypertellurians. You can catch that review at mbcast.co/70. And basically, one of the things that we do with all of our reviews is we rate a game based on its visuals. That includes layout, things like artwork, all that kind of stuff. And it's hard to impart to our listeners exactly what we mean when they can't necessarily just have a look at the various elements that we're talking about. So we do these visual reviews just as a way to flick through the book and kind of show it off, basically to show the bits that we're talking about. So this visual review won't be really giving any ratings, any judgments, anything like that on the actual visuals. It's basically just to show you what this game looks like. So a very quick flick through, talking about the layout, the format, that sort of thing. Okay, so that's my little preamble out of the way. Let's talk about size first. This is a digest size book. That means 6 inches wide by 9 inches tall. Because it is hardback, it actually comes out a little bit taller than that, but when you open it up, the pages themselves are 6 inches by 9 inches. It is print on demand, but as you can see, a lovely full color cover there. A lovely full color cover there. God, that's a bit of a mouthful. Print on demand, as I said, through RPG. You can see here that it's printed by Lightning Source in the UK. I live in Europe, so that's why it's printed like that. Because it's print on demand, you don't get end papers like you do in some offset stuff. So you got the kind of white end papers on either side, and then the book itself starts. So let's have a look on the inside. The first thing to talk around, I guess, are the things like the first spread we're looking at after you get past just Hypertellurians on the first page is a title page, a credits page, and then we get a 2-page spread with the table of contents and quite a lot of level of detail there, as you can see. 4 columns. Small text, but basically everything's in there. It's going down to quite a low level of granularity in terms of what you want to find. Index, there isn't an index in the back or an appendix. It goes straight into from kind of the last chapter, which is tips for GMs, into inspiration, and then that's the game finished. So let's talk about next the layout. We'll just flip to a random page here. Oh, this is a good page because it's got call-out boxes too. It's got a 2-column spread basically through the entire book. The exceptions to that are some places where the layout is calling out boxes like this. In this case, we've got 3 call-out boxes, which obviously have a single column layout. In terms of page dressing, we have this sort of parchment background, which it has this ripped parchment effect going around the sides here, but you can see, or maybe you can't see, it looks basically like it's going across the full 2-page spread. And really, a lot of these are treated as spreads rather than individual pages like you'd see on a PDF. For example, every one of the archetypes, there's 6 archetypes, has this 2-page spread where you've got the name of the archetype on the left, a little blurb about what that means, and a 2-page spread, bit of artwork by Frank's wife, Karen. That's what the layout looks like. The page dressing, you can see it up at the top. You've got the chapter number, the chapter name, Hypertellurians on the right. Page numbers are in the corners here. It's black background with white text, which makes it nice and contrasty, easy to read. And yeah, not a lot more to say about that. It's got this kind of pink kind of header here. I'm not sure which header level this is. Probably header level 1 or 2, I would imagine. Go to a normal page or normal chapter. I think it's header level 1. So that's kind of nice as well. It's punchy. It's easy to read. It's pink on a kind of tan background. I quite like that. But yeah, that's it in a nutshell. That's basically what the layout looks like and what the kind of page dressing looks like. Call-out boxes, generally speaking, are the one like the one I just showed, which is black boxes with white text and a bright yellow title or call-out box, whatever you call it, the title of a call-out box. Tables, there aren't very many tables in this book. There is one right near the front on page 12, which is for Wonder. And as you can see here, much like many tables in role-playing games, it's got alternating rows with a light pink background and then basically an empty, like a light, transparent background, which in this case is the same color as the background itself. You've got this really nice page, this really nice border around the table as well. But again, there's very, very few tables in this book. Oh, and it's got a pink header as well. So that's what tables look like. Artwork, there's a piece here. There's a mixture of styles. You get some black and white artwork. You get some color artwork. You get, at the start of every chapter, you get a 2-page spread like this. You have the chapter number and the chapter name on the left, and you get this kind of retro. I believe most of these were taken from kind of open source. In fact, let me just look exactly what he said here for it. Yeah, public domain art from a number of sources. So Alan Anderson, Norman Saunders, et al. So basically these are public domain pieces of artwork from the sort of sci-fi, golden age of sci-fi. So they're all in the public domain now. And yeah, they're quite nice. They're very, very evocative of what they're presenting. Here's another one. Then if we look at the archetypes here, you can see there's a lot of artwork here. There are 6 double-page spreads here by, I mentioned before, by Karen, Frank's wife, and she's done these 2-page spreads for all of the archetypes here. And they're also really nice. She's also done some pieces throughout the book as well, these kind of color pieces. And yeah, it's pretty much, while there are 3 artists, it's pretty consistent throughout in terms of its, where they're being used and how it looks, and yeah, altogether it flows very nicely. Okay. Just kind of finish flicking through here a little bit just so you can kind of see to the end. Here's another table right at the back. And that is more or less it. But this last page here, the inspiration has it has another one of these nice kind of borders, like it's a table, but it's not. Obviously, it's just a page of information about the inspiration, and yeah, looks really lovely. It's the text is kind of following the page art, the border art here, and nice that it's black on white for a little bit of a change from the rest of the book. So that is it. That is Hypertellurians in a quick blitz through visual review. Thanks for looking. Thanks for watching. If you've got any comments or questions, you can hit us up in the comments below, and links to Hypertellurians will be in the description for this video, as well as links to the full review, the full 2+ hour review that we've done. Thanks very much for watching, and catch you next time.